Hello and welcome. Thank you for tuning in to another new moon ceremony for this new moon in Aries, which is actually happening today, being the 29th of March 2025. So, welcome, and I'm excited for you to join me for this new moon ceremony. So, as always, I invite you to use this as an opportunity to just tune into yourself, to just use it as a sort of a meditation where you can set intentions and just use it as inspiration for planting seeds and intentions for this new moon cycle. Have your own thoughts and your own feelings, tuning into these energies and how it relates to you and your life. So first of all, of course, as always, I will start with talking about what the Aries new moon is actually all about, and then talking about this specific energy for this particular transit of this Aries new moon. So welcome. So Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. It is fire. It is inspiration. It is very excited energy. It is brand new. It is fresh, new beginnings. It's the big bang. It's the first spark. It's that setting off, voyaging and adventuring out with bravery and courage. So it's taking those first initial steps with great compulsion behind it. Because it's got all of the energy of the rest of the zodiac to follow after this initial pulse or wave of spark of energy. So very fiery, very quick, very sensitive for a fire sign as well. So that's the Aries energy. However, this particular new moon is actually a little bit of a different Aries new moon. And that's because of the particular transit that it is, where it is, what's happening around it, and what's happened in the past, and also what is going on with the other planets currently, which are creating quite a significant impact on the feeling of this time. So what really is happening is it's actually a little bit like this new moon is actually a soft start, because usually Aries is the start. It's the beginning, which is why we celebrate Easter, which is the dying on the cross and then being reborn again, which happens on the full moon, which is coming up, of course, in a couple of weeks' time. And the new moon is the quiet time of the cycle. It's the yin, it's the inward, it's the quiet setting of intentions. However, my perception is that this particular new moon, although of course it is still setting the seeds and sowing the seeds, because we have quite a few planets still in the previous sign in Pisces, and two planets retrograding back into Pisces, Mercury and Venus, it's actually more about what has happened in this previous cycle. So those seeds that were sown and set from the previous moon cycle. And so it's kind of like, this is that rebalancing of that energy. It's not just that masculine Aries, it's this now. It's actually sort of wobbling back a little bit into that Pisces energy. It's much more watery, it's much more dreamy, like that Pisces energy. And because Neptune is also playing a big part, which is the ruler of Pisces, which is in Pisces as well as the North Node being in Pisces, which is the karmic soul direction that as a species we're collectively heading in. And Pisces, as I've explained in my last video, is a very feminine, very watery, dreamlike, imaginative sign. And we've been having to do, actually, I think, a lot of forgiveness and healing work, and evaluating and re-identifying with what we see ourselves as, and how we can move forward with those identities in a more harmonious, holistic way, that is getting away from that victimhood. And that causes us a lot of trouble in the world and personally. So this new moon as well, because we've just started this new eclipse season, which was the previous cycle, was when the eclipse started with the Virgo full moon. Fundamental. That is absolutely shaping the feeling of this new moon cycle. It's attached because we also still have this particular new moon is creating the solar eclipse. So I don't want it to sound too confusing, but essentially it is very connected. It's not, which is that very feminine energy. It's all about having that connection rather than just this going forward, this one now. It's seeing that, hey, look, there is this web that is, everything is interconnected with and to. And so it is about then tuning into those intentions that were set and the cycles that were started in this past 4 weeks, the changes that have occurred and the shifts, and some of them have been fairly dramatic, no doubt. This reshuffling, reorganizing, almost like a little mini reset that we've gone through this little transition period from Pisces into Aries, which is kind of making it less of that Aries initial first fiery start and more of this kind of soft start happening gradually over time, and tuning in with our feelings more, tuning in with our dreams, and our that sort of using that intuition a little bit more. It's a little softer, a little more dreamy, and so it is taking away that kind of initial big spark of the Aries, which is still there, and this is still very much the beginning of this new cycle. But noticing what changes have occurred, what inspirations have come up as these desires and passions within the heart. And we've also, on the 22nd of March, just had the Venus star point, which is Venus Cazimi, going into the heart of the sun, retrograding back into Pisces, Venus. So that is also really setting the tone for this new Aries cycle, which is all about our values and also about our relationships as well, how we want to work in our relationships, what we will and won't stand for, which is really fundamental coming into this new phase, because how we interact with each other in our relationships and our communities is really going to set the tone for how humanity is progressing moving forward. And so it is about really staying true to our values, getting stronger if we're not already in what our value system is. And again, it is still part of that letting go of that ego, of those strong ego identifications, which when in relationships is, again, when it's all about me, self-centered, is really detrimental to the relationship itself and working together. So that's what's highlighted with this particular cycle. It's although we're progressing forward always, there is this kind of pull slightly towards, hang on, but let's just stay back in what we were, stick in that little bit of trying to still keep pushing through those thoughts, those dreams, those changes and shifts, those pattern shifts, those daily ritual shifts, those mind shifts, those feeling shifts of wanting, and those desires, very much tuning into those desires that we've felt in the last 4 weeks, and keep pulling those through into the trajectory of where we're going. So it's not such a cut and dry Aries new moon, let's just progress forward with this Aries energy. It's a little bit more tempered in that way. And that is also key and fundamental moving forward as well, because it's less of this kind of contrast of this black, white, masculine, feminine, and it's more coming into how do we find the balance between the masculine and the feminine within and with others as well. So that's what this new cycle is really all about, is coming into this greater alignment of harmony within, and this temperance within. And so that's what it's really all about. No. Sorry, I have somebody asking for my assistance. So that's what it's really all about, is this coming, not just pushing forward as we always have, and slowing down a little bit, staying true, checking in with our value system. This is a huge one. Knowing what we will and won't stand for, and really staying true to ourselves with that value, and understanding those patterns within our relationships that are toxic and that are healthy, and where we are identifying with the ego that is actually bringing us down and keeping us in victimhood. And so staying true to the values, but not letting the ego get in the way of creating something that is able to create something bigger than what just we are. And that's really important coming into the future. So this is a little bit of a different new moon. It's still very much Aries, though. It is still very much the beginning of a new cycle. Still very much pushing through this new energy that we're moving into, and lots of changes, can be quite traumatic, the change and the shifts, because of course we still have the Pluto in Aquarius that's coming through and making these changes. And it is also a little bit, of course, AI is another kind of topic that it's coming to the forefront of us understanding our relationship with AI and how we work with it moving forward, which is a really big point for the future. Lots of new discoveries as well that are happening around the world that are helping us to understand this bigger picture of this simulation that we're in, or the history or the story that we are actually within, that we haven't necessarily always realized. So that's referring to the pyramid discovery that has actually been there probably all along. But the difference is that now we're at a stage in humanity where we're starting to get to a point where we are able to accept these other notions of our storyline. And that's really exciting. So, and it shows the progress of the overall of the humanity's consciousness, that it is starting to be more accepting, more open. And the only way that that can occur is through change, which can sometimes be destructive, and that's socially as well. So when we look at our political sphere, it can seem very disruptive and very backwards and very absurd, but that is the thing that is going to bring about the change that will open us to allow for other realities and other storylines of our history that have created us to be where we're at today, so that we can actually then ascend to that next level. So I hope that that helps to explain where we're at, and that in doing so that it helps you to understand more about your own life, your own situation, and what's happening around you. But the main message that I have for this new moon is that it is a soft start, which is actually really lovely and very loving. So soft start for this Aries new moon for this 2025 year, which is all about transformation. So I wish you all the best, and I hope that this has been useful and insightful for you. If it has, of course, feel free to share it, subscribe and like, which always helps for getting other people to listen to this if you think that it would help make a difference in the world. So until the next new moon, I wish you all the best for this new cycle, sowing beautiful seeds for your life, staying true to your values, true to yourself, and progressing forward with inspiration and excitement. Until the next one.